Hello there! So today I thought I'd take you down a little road trip in my neck of the woods along the so-called King's Road. Now I'm going to be traveling down this medieval route, which is in fact quite ancient, that at its peak somewhere between the 1300s until the 1940s stretched between Viipuri in the east all the way to Turku in the west. Or at least that's my intention, because part of that road is in fact gone. Modern society is not really fond of old winding roads, meaning that a large part of the old road is in fact gone. It has given way to highways and petrol stations. Alrighty, so I start the journey here in Kirkkonummi, which is located about 25 minutes west of Helsinki, and which is also the place where I live, and then see how far I can get in just a couple of hours. Also, I thought it would be kind of appropriate just to share a little bit about the history of what we today call the King's Road, but which in fact was originally called the Great Shore Road. But here in this video I'll be calling it the King's Road because that's what we all call it today. Anyways, the King's Road was for hundreds of years the only road funded by the crown, and it served as a vital military and administrative artery in the eastern part of the Swedish kingdom, which is today called Finland. And as with many important logistical arteries, its impact can still be seen in the region, with many of today's roads following the same alignment, sort of west to east or the other way around, with historic buildings and villages scattered along the route. In western Uusimaa, which is the area we're in right now, among the green fields, brooks and forests, the road retains a kind of a unique Finnish atmosphere. One can almost still hear the clatter of wagons and the hoofbeats of horses echoing on the gravel. And as you would expect, many manors and castles were established along the King's Road. They were not only large farms that you would expect, but also centers of local governance, economic activity, and cultural life back in the day. As we're traveling west from Kirkkonummi, the first castle we come across is Sundby Manor, situated by the Sundby River. Now, it is one of the oldest still inhabited stone manors here in Finland, with a history dating back to the 1500s. In the 17th and the 18th century, Sundby Manor was a significant agricultural but also an administrative center here in the region in the southern part of Finland. The manor grounds themselves include an old mill that you can see over here, powered by hydropower, and the surroundings remain exceptionally well preserved. One thing that you need to know about this place is that during the Soviet lease of the Porkkala era between 1944 and 1956, the manor was temporarily occupied by the Red Army, and traces of that can still be seen today. Impressive as it is, we do have to keep on moving. And so I continue west from Sundby Castle with Inkoo as my next destination. And whilst I'm crossing the fields of Siontio, I'd like to share some interesting history of the region itself. The region, known as Western Uusimaa, was originally settled by Swedish-speaking people mainly between the 12th and the 14th centuries, during a period of Swedish expansion into what is today called Finland. Encouraged by the Crown and the Catholic Church, settlers from coastal areas of Sweden, especially from regions like Uppland and Gotland, migrated across the Baltic Sea to the southern Finnish coast. Here they established farming and fishing communities in the fertile and strategically located coastal areas of Western Uusimaa. Over time, these settlers formed a lasting Swedish-speaking population, shaping the local culture, language, and also place names, like for example the coastal town of Inkoo, which is situated here by the coast. Inkoo developed as a farming and fishing community and later grew around trade and maritime activity. And today it remains a bilingual municipality with deep Swedish cultural roots. And it's from here I take the old historic road to Fagervik, situated about 15 kilometers west of Inkoo. Fagervik began as a 17th century ironworks founded by a Swedish merchant. It later transformed by the Hisingen family into one of Finland's most distinguished industrial estates. It saw innovation in iron production, the introduction of potatoes in Finland, elegant architecture, and exotic horticulture. After the industrial era ended in the early 1900s, Fagervik smoothly transitioned into agriculture while remaining in the same family's hands. But my next stop is in fact much older than Fagervik. 50 minutes farther west of Fagervik, we find the castle ruins of Raseborg Castle. Raseborg Castle was originally founded in the 1300s by the Swedish nobleman Bo Jonsson Grip to strengthen Swedish control over southern Finland and also to protect vital trade routes in the Baltic Sea, particularly against the Hanseatic League and local pirates. Built on rocky islands surrounded by water and marshes, Raseborg Castle served as an important military and, get this, yes, administrative center for the western Uusimaa region. However, as the coastline receded and newer ports, for example like Helsinki, grew in importance, the castle lost its strategic value. And it was officially decommissioned in 1558. Moving north from Raseborg Castle, I now point my compass toward Billnäs and my old stomping grounds. Billnäs is a historic ironworks village here in western Uusimaa, and it was founded in 1641 by a gentleman called Karl Billsten, a Swedish merchant, as part of Sweden's effort to industrialize and expand eastward. Positioned along the Svarto River, Billnäs has access to water power and transport routes, making it ideal for iron production. Production at the ironworks slowed and eventually ceased in the late 1900s. In recent decades, though, Billnäs has been revitalized as a cultural and tourist destination. Many of its historic buildings have been restored, and today it hosts events, artisan workshops and accommodations, preserving its rich industrial heritage. So, folks, there you have it, a quick stop tour down the King's Road here in western Uusimaa. And you know, for me personally, the King's Road is so much more than just some country road that will take you from point A to point B. For me, these roads are very much part of who I am as a person, because it was on these roads that I grew up. It was here where I learned how to ride motorcycles, for example, obviously without the license. And it was here where I, in fact, found my independence in my mother's tiny beat-up Fiat 127. And it was these roads that led me into the open, wide world about 30 years ago. And so when I travel down these roads, I do so knowing that thousands of people have done so before me. And I know that 1,000 more people would do so after me sometime in the future, getting into the wide open world. So if you ever visit this part of the world, why not give me a ping and come out for a spin? I would love to show you all the hidden places that I haven't shown you yet.